Hey guys, how you doing? Gavin here from Start Fresh Personal Training, and today's little video is simply about how the fitness industry is hurting you guys. All right, now everywhere you kind of look, you sort of look around and you see the magazine covers and the slim people and the six packs and the nice booties and all that sort of thing. And when you see that shoved in your face all the time, it actually becomes quite quite draining. Certainly, if you're somebody who struggles with self-image around weight loss and fitness and everything, it can be really hard just to sort of get your head around, and you kind of get indoctrinated into believing that that is how you should look, when in actual fact it isn't. If you know how those fitness models and those bodybuilders live most of the year, you'll find that they actually carry a fair amount of body fat. And the photos that they show you on the cameras have been airbrushed and changed a little bit, or they're all from one photo shoot where they've leaned down for maybe 12, 15, 16 weeks, sometimes less or longer, and they take a bunch of snaps on one day in peak performance. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be in peak performance a lot of the time. A lot of people are, but most of the people in those on those magazines aren't actually in that peak condition. And to be honest with you, you got to understand that that's their job. That is how they make a living. That is why they are like that, because they're very driven. They make money that way. It's how they pay their bills, and it's important for them to look that way. So what you got to find is a lot of coaches and trainers, and there are really good ones out there, will try and lever you into making you look better, okay? And yes, okay, you may want to look better, you want to look nicer in your trousers or your shirt or your skirt or whatever else, but they don't always have your health in mind first. So they come out with an extreme diet to lose X amount of weight in a certain time, and although you've lost weight, you might feel a little bit better for a short period of time, but you're actually not any healthier for it. And the better trainers and the better coaches are the ones that look after your health first. Because you can absolutely be a little bit overweight, but be a lot fitter, a lot stronger, a lot more mobile, and than just being really thin and looking lean, but not actually healthy. They kind of sensationalize, bodies as well. So you'll hear things like shredded abs, or get that peak on your bicep, or all those sorts of things. And to be honest with you, a lot of my clients that I work with, and if you're watching this, hoping you fit that kind of demographic, or maybe over 40, they put a few kilos on over the years, and they just want to get fitter. They want to look a bit better than they did, and they're not interested in shredded abs and peaks on their biceps. And you shouldn't be concerned with those tiny menial little things, because they're very aesthetic. They're quite meaningless. Nobody cares if you got a six-pack. No one cares if you got a peak on your bicep or not. But people are genuinely care about your health and how you do things, all right? So when you look at those, those programs and diets and things like that, and they claim to give you shredded abs, or they claim to give you, sensationalized a huge amount of body fat in short periods of time, you really need to look beyond that, and kind of bring it back to reality a little bit and think about what it is that you actually want. And yeah, if you want a six-pack, you can absolutely get a six-pack, but you don't need to do it in that way. You can do it in a lot easier way, to be honest with you. It's going to take some work, but it's not going to be as traumatic as you think it needs to be. And again, with unsustainable training programs, so I've done quite a few of the online training programs, and some I really like, but they're unsustainable. So you have things like I'm going to say Insanity. I really enjoy doing the Insanity workout with Sean T. But it is really unsustainable, and I kind of put myself off training for a little while by doing it. I did it for a long time. I didn't know what else to do, and I just kept on plugging on. And as a result, I got bad knee. I remember doing a squat and hurt my knee that time. I was quite tired because the demand that it's asking you to do is maybe six times a week of exercise, and it's a little bit unsustainable. So. And it doesn't teach you how to be sustainable. It doesn't teach you how to then own your fitness journey long term. It gives you an 8-week blast where you're going to lose a bunch of weight, but it doesn't give you anything to maintain your weight with. And that is a real problem, because like even when I did all my my first sort of big weight loss journey, I got to the point where I can't do this all the time. This is just crazy. You know, I can't go at this pace for long periods of time. Hey, Chewy. And you need to find a way to make it sustainable, okay? Because it'd be a lot easier. And that's why you find that lots of these programs are designed for short periods of time. They blast you with everything. You lose weight, and then afterwards you got no idea what to do. You end up going back to what you did before. You put all the weight back on. You become unfit, and then you buy another product to lose weight again. You know, it is as simple as that. So you try and understand what's going on there, okay? I made some notes as well. So again, you're looking at supplements as well. Now, supplements do play a part, and you got to understand that supplements are not magic. They are there to supplement an already good diet. So I had a conversation with a client of mine this morning about protein, and you know, absolutely recommend whey protein and extra protein in your diet. And if you're really struggling to get it from your food, and some people do, then a protein supplement is going to be really good for you, because you know we know that added protein in your diet helps you feel fuller. It sparks something called a thermic effect of feeding to help you burn more calories while you're eating. It helps with regenerating lean muscle mass, helps with you know, and skin and nails and all those things. And more protein is actually better for you. But if you can get it from your diet, then there's no reason to supplement. So you know, if you're looking at these fat burners and these pre-workouts, you don't need all that stuff. It's an absolute waste of money. You're not going to get anything from it long term. And if you bring it back to basically do this with the tools that you have, it's basically going to the supermarket, buying some good food, learning how to exercise properly. You're going to do so much better, okay? And you're going to be more long term. So with that in mind, okay, you know, you look at those, take it back to the magazines or your friends. And I had a good conversation with somebody this week around about, you know, but my friends do this and my friends do this and they're slim. And you honestly can't live in that world. You've got to think about what's right for yourself. And the only person you need to compete with on a daily basis is yourself. You need to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. And you do that by just constantly, you know, working at it. And you may have a friend who's got a really fast metabolism who can eat tons and tons of food and not put any weight on. But that's just unfortunate. That's just the way you need to come and deal with it yourself and do it, you know, do it for yourself. And that's the only way really it's going to work. You need to sort of, you know, learn how to exercise properly. That is a massive one. You will see people doing hours and hours of cardio, hours and hours of treadmill, hours and hours of biking, and they don't lose any weight. And it's because they're not training properly. You're not using their time in the gym efficiently. And you need to be able to do some squats. You need to be able to use the big muscles in your body. You need to work them, you know, to a point where it's going to cause them to change, cause them to adapt, and cause you to get the good benefit from weight training. Because if you're going into the gym and you do say 10 reps of a squat and you feel like you've done anything, then you're not working hard enough. And a good rule of thumb is when you get the last 3 reps of what you're doing, it should be really challenging. And if it's not challenging, then you either do a few more reps or you add some weight to make them challenging. And you've got to have the good form. Now, if you're going to start squatting and pressing, you need to look and learn how to do that properly, because you could potentially pick up an injury that you didn't, you know, have before. It's going to put you out of the game for a little bit longer. So all really important to get that done. Then you got to basically learn to be consistent with it, okay? And consistency comes down to basically having a very good why you're doing it in the first place. Have a really clear sense of why you're doing it. But consistency just means, you know, do something that you can do every day. Yes, you need to be a little bit challenged. Yes, you need to, you know, take out your comfort zone just a little bit. But it doesn't need to be, you know, from, you know, marathon or ultra marathon type intensity. It just needs to be challenging enough for you to progress. And when you progress slowly, you are going to improve. And before you know it, you're going to be doing so much more than you could before. And that's really important. And you know, it's like when you first learn to drive, you know, it's really difficult. But once you have a few lessons and you get your mind around it, and then all of a sudden, you know, you can do things on your own, the clutch control comes, and the look in the rearview mirror all starts to come, and it becomes natural. And that is how you do it. It's just through practice, and that is what's going to give you consistency. And, you know, you just got to have a view of when you start your weight loss journey, you need to think long term. You cannot think short term. Absolutely have short term goals. You need little milestones to get to, bang, bang, bang. But the ultimate is your long term goal. And that is essentially, in my opinion, in my eyes, is to never be overweight again. That is my big long time goal. And as long as I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week and I'm tracking on my fitness pal every day, or 90% of the time, I'm never going to be overweight again. It's until I stop doing those things consistently is that when I will put weight on. It may be different for you. It may be, to get back to health after you've had a health scare, or you've had an operation on your knees and you need to get back to full strength to do what you do before, whatever it is. But you got to maintain those actions every single day to be able to do that. And if you don't, then you're going to end up sliding back. So what I want to impose on you guys is that, don't kind of buy into the quick fixes, the fitness industry. And there's a lot of unethical fitness people out there that will sell you something to make some money on the guys that you're going to lose weight, and it's going to be amazing. And well, it's not going to happen. You could really do this just by a really smart approach to it, and don't buy into the BS that's out there. Really do your research on it. Really look into it. What it is that you want to achieve. And the reason why you want to do it in the first place, and by doing that, you're going to be absolutely more armed with the best information for you to achieve what you want to achieve. So like I said, the fitness industry does hurt a lot of people, but there are some good coaches, and I consider myself to be one of those coaches. I do. I've got some really good results from my clients, and none of them complain about injuries. None of them complain about what I'm asking them to do is too difficult. It's all very, very basic. It's really, really unsexy stuff, unfortunately. But the sexy stuff sells really, really well. But you can absolutely do it just by being really sort of basic in what you do. And once you learn that, it becomes a whole bunch easier. There's no hardship involved. It's just about building on certain things every single day. Little things, the littlest thing that you can manage to be able to do it on the track. And your weight will come off, and it'll come off fairly quickly as well, in a fairly safe way. And you'll be a 10 times better version of yourself, and it'll be easy to maintain. That's the main thing. So that's it from me today. Start fresh, guys. Like I said, I always say it, start fresh, because if you don't make a change today, how will tomorrow be any different? Cheers.